Welcome, everybody. Very quickly, as you can guess, this is one of the best ways to close out a conference like this, in which we talk to you about what are the next steps. And as you can see, what should you be doing with the case now? I guess the short answer would be submit. And so what we're going to be looking to do is we're going to be going through about 9 or 10 speakers who will be presenting their relationship with the journal that they're going to be talking about. And hopefully that'll be giving you inspiration and ideas moving forward as to how you wish to take your case further. And hopefully that case doesn't collect virtual dust in your computer. To that point, each speaker is going to have about 5 minutes. As yesterday, as I described in our other session, if we start to run long, I will tap my nose like this. So Gina, you get to go first with that. If we have time, we'll keep track of the chat. And if you have questions while the speaker is presenting, please go ahead and put that in. If we've got time in the 5 minutes, we will do that, but I will keep us to the 5 minutes. And one other note, we are going alphabetical order. So there has been no other decision to place the journals in any other order other than alphabetical. But if you have a disagreement as to how the definitive article has been used in relation to alphabetical order, please direct your attention to Michael Goldman after the conference. So with that said, Gina, might I hand it over to you?
Thank you so much, John. And for many of you, you've seen me pop into your sessions. My name is Gina Grandy, and I am the editor of the Case Research Journal. The Case Research Journal is the journal affiliated with NACRA, and I would argue, therefore, means should be the natural home for your NACRA case that you've presented here. But there are a number of reasons that you should consider CRJ for your case submission. John, can I ask you to proceed this slide, please?
There you go.
So CRJ was ranked the top case journal, a B+ journal in management education in the Academy of Management Learning and Education article. And so it was ranked amongst all other types of journals, including case journals, and it was the top ranked case journal. And so when you start talking about impact, there's a great evidence that you can be using in your tenure and promotion publications and your packages. CRJ is a B+ journal. In addition to that, we would argue that CRJ has the broadest distribution of any peer-reviewed case journal. We are distributed through Harvard Business School, Ivey Publishing, the Case Center, Xanadu, Pearson, McGraw-Hill, StudyNet, and the list goes on and on. We are also indexed in the Harvard Business Publishing Case Repository, ABI Inform Collection and Global, Business Premium Collection, ProQuest Central, and a number of others as well. But here's one of the things I do want to say to you, and I said this earlier to some of the people that I had a conversation. Most case authors want to make sure that their case is being used. And CRJ provides you with that ideal place to get that broadest distribution globally. And one piece of evidence to that is in just 1 year, so because of our relationship with Harvard Business School Publishing, in 2019 alone, more than 90,000 CRJ cases were distributed through HBS Publishing in 1 year, and that's quite phenomenal. We take pride in our developmental review process, and while publishing in CRJ is something you earn in the sense that it isn't a gift, but the feedback process is incredibly constructive, and we often will even tell authors that if we believe there is one of our other fellow colleagues out there and their journal outlets, it is a better fit, we will share that. We have 3 special issues coming up in this next year that you may have a particular case that will be fitting for that. And we have a 60-day turnaround from when you submit to when you actually get your decision. And last year, that number was less than 50 days on average. We have an annual case award. And just this recently on Thursday, we made an announcement that John Lawrence's Vista Outdoors case received that Tate Award for 2019. And one last thing I do want to note, John, if I can. We acknowledge every year, we keep track of the sales of the case and the adoptions. And internally and on the website, we post this list of best-selling cases. In the room with us today, and I'm going to say in the room, in our virtual room, we have a number of those authors from between January to October of 2020 have best-selling cases. Some of them up to over 5,000 cases that have been sold. So Mahendri is here with us, I'm sure, and two of his cases, Fertilizer Corporation and Wells Fargo, on that list of top-selling cases. We also, I'm sure, have with us Armand, Naked Wines, and Russian River Brewing Company, again on that top list of best-selling cases. Janice is with us, FinTech Choosing a Cloud, also on that list. Randy Harris here with us, also on that list for his case with Lehman Brothers. And we also have, I think, Charla with us for her business model innovation, and Javier as well for his case. So these are all case writers who are amongst us in the room right now that can give you lots of tips, and their cases are on the top selling list for CRJ. And there are a number of other notes I have written on there, but I do want you to think about CRJ for your case that you've published here at NACRA, and I would encourage you to reach out to me or any one of our editorial team for you to, if you have questions, and think about why might it be the right fit for you. Thank you, John.
Impressive, right on the 5-minute mark. So thank you very much, Gina. Next, do we have Michael? Do we have Miao Cui?
I don't see her as a speaker, so I'm going to play the video if that's okay.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It is my great honor to have this opportunity to give a brief introduction to China Management Case Center, CMCC. I'm Miao Cui, a Vice Director of CMCC. CMCC is the birthplace of teaching cases and case teaching in China. CMCC, located in Dalian University of Technology, was first established in 1987. In 2011, CMCC and Ivey signed an MOU. By the end of September 2020, we altogether have 25 co-branding cases. CMCC is the largest case center in China. We altogether have 289 business school members and 45,000 individual members. CMCC and these members hold unified standards. We adopt decentralized construction, joint development, and case resource sharing modes in the development of CMCC. Our activities primarily include teaching case collection and distribution, case teaching training for instructors, and students' case analysis competition. CMCC is a fast-growing case center. We altogether have more than 4,000 cases, among which 1,810 cases are with consent forms. Authors can submit their cases via regular submission and any top 100 case competition. This allows CMCC to collect best cases nationwide. The top 100 case competition starts from 2010. As you see, since 2013, each year we have more than 500 case submissions, and in this year, the number exceeds 1,000. And 165 cases won the competition. To identify the high-quality cases, we have 2 rounds of review. The first round is letter review. Altogether, more than 300 professors from 94 business schools worked as peer reviewers. In the second round, we have meeting review. Each business school is allowed to have at most 7 regular cases and 4 short cases. In addition, more than 3,000 instructors from business schools nationwide took part in the case training program held by CMCC. Finally, CMCC holds a well-known case analysis competition among Chinese MBA students. This year, 110 business schools took part in division competition. 24 business schools competed in the national finals. Thank you for your listening. If you have any questions, please write to me. Here's my email, cuimao@dlut.edu.cn. Thank you, Professor William Wei. Thank you, Michael Goldman, for your support. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Great, and we thank Miao for sending that along to us. Next, we are moving to Gabi Rundle for Ivey Publishing, correct? Or excuse me, Emerald Publishing. So let's see.
Yeah.
There you are, Gabi.
Sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we
Brilliant.
can. Thank you.
Thanks very much. So I'm Gabi Rundle, and I'm the Cases Publisher at Emerald Publishing. We publish the e-case collection, which includes 2 of our own case collections, the Case Journal and Emerging Markets Case Studies, as well as licensing in teaching cases from business schools around the world. So the editors of both of our case collections, the Case Journal and Emerald's Emerging Markets Case Studies, are going to be talking about those specific collections a bit later on in this session. So I'm going to not go into too much detail about those, but did kind of want to mention a couple of things about Emerald Publishing's approach to publishing in those collections. So firstly, I wanted to mention that both of those are Scopus ranked. So publication in either one of those collections really does ensure promotion of your case study to a global audience with that kind of ranking alongside it. And secondly, I wanted to mention both the Case Journal and the Emerging Markets Case Studies. The editors in the editorial team work really closely with authors, with the expectation there might be a number of revisions to develop cases, but where possible really to develop those cases to the best iteration of that case possible. So if you're a new case author particularly, I'd really suggest that the developmental nature of both of those outlets might be something that you would benefit from, but as I said, there'll be a bit more detail on both of those later on. So what I wanted to talk about now was Emerald's Cases Hub. So whether you've decided where you're going to submit your case study or you're not sure just yet, I would really suggest you use this website. I will put a link to this in the session chat just once I'm done with this, and it's also linked to in the Emerald Expo booth. So this is a free online resource that's available for anyone to use, and it's been developed with help from a number of editors and faculty around the world. So our first modules on the Cases Hub focus on writing cases, and the idea is that they guide students through the complete journey from identifying a need through the writing process of both the case and the teaching note. And then finally, evaluating your case study prior to submission, and test teaching your case prior to submission as well. So I guess that's kind of the bit of this I really wanted to kind of stress at the moment. The evaluating your case prior to submission would be a really good module for you to look at. It contains a number of questions about common reviewer feedback, peer review, advice on classroom testing your case prior to submission, and we've curated all of that information in the form of videos. This specific one is by Rebecca Morris, the TCJ editor, who will speak in just a moment, but there's content on there from a number of our editors. You can log on, you can view any of the content that's relevant to you and ignore any that you think isn't. So you can log on, you can save your progress where you are and log back on as and when you feel you need to. And we've recently added modules on there on how to teach with cases. And we've added a designated module on how to teach cases online, which I know has been the focus of a number of the new view sessions, and obviously is a priority for faculty at the moment. So even if you're not writing a case at the moment, but you're transitioning to this online teaching, we've got a number of modules and content on there as well. So I really would suggest, like I said, I will put a link to that in the chat, but wherever you are in deciding what to do with your case, that you do log on and check out the Emerald Cases Hub. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Gabi. And as everybody can see, actually, the conversation is continuing on in the chat side. So if you don't get the opportunity to ask or engage, please feel free to reach out to the speakers on the side. Next up, we have Jorge Gonzalez for the International Case.
Hi, thank you very much. I am Jorge Gonzalez. I am the person in charge of the International Case Center. At the beginning, we were the case center of the Tecnológico de Monterrey, one of the largest universities in Mexico. And now we collaborate with some other universities in Latin America. In fact, we publish the cases rated by the Asociación Latinoamericana de Casos, ALAC is the name. Well, what kind of cases we are interested in receive? Well, our point of view is cases that complement the traditional offer that we can find in some other cases. I mean, some kind of customization of the theoretical framework application in small or medium-sized companies in a Latin American or Mexican environment. Our case center publish cases for the undergraduate level, but for the graduate level also. And the process that we follow in order to publish our cases is a kind of faculty Latin American, is the traditional double-blended peer review process. And then we publish it in the Case Center website. Nevertheless, we publish in some other universities as a collaboration, and we publish cases in the Case Center also. Well, we are open to receive cases any month of the year. We publish other resources, but principally cases. If you want to publish with us, just contact me. We have the website like this, International Case Center, or directly Jorge Gonzalez. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Jorge. We appreciate that. Okay. Now we have Matt Quin for Ivey Publishing.
Thanks very much for having me. Looking forward to the discussion. So Ivey Publishing has a rich history of working with authors around the globe, and really at our core is the work that we do along with our faculty members, case reviewers, and case editors. And this really speaks to the quality that we try to bring to not only the cases and the teaching note, but to the process. So for those of you that have worked with us, thanks again for that. Part of the big process and what differentiates Ivey Publishing is we have over 40 faculty members that work with our editors, with our team, and with you as an author to refine the case, make it shorter, look at things that can be added or maybe cut away. And that is a huge part of the process that goes back to when we were formed over 30 years ago. And that's all about resources, about the feedback. The other thing that we're adding to our rich history and the things that we're trying to do with our authors, we've just launched a podcast. So hopefully you'll take the time to check that out. And we speak with authors not only about their case, but the thought process, the process of publishing. How did they get to the decision point? What were some of the things that they had to go through in writing their teaching notes? So those are really rich and fun conversations that we have. And we've continued on our path of offering workshops. Again, goes back to the quality, goes back to how do we continue to provide the widest distribution, is that if we have the best possible cases in our library. So check out not only our booth, but our website if you want any more information about the workshops that we have. And those have moved online, obviously, with what has happened, but it is really still very much interactive with members of our team, with our faculty members, and we'll give you the experience of what to look for when writing. You know, what are some of the pitfalls? What are some of the things that we're looking for as we continue to evolve as a publisher? We have had a great experience of working with other publishers, Harvard, Case Center, obviously NACRA, and that's what's cool about this session, is getting to see all the options that are available to you. And again, why you should work with publishing. Great opportunity to work with editors and faculty members to give you the feedback to improve, modify, take that case digitally possibly. And again, the resources that we make possible. I, again, going back to the podcast, have the chance to host that and really get to learn from the authors about what is it like to publish? How is it like to publish their first case? What it's like now that they've published 10 cases. So I encourage you to check that out. And again, all these things go back to making the best possible product, making the best possible case, and having a great experience, which impacts the classroom, impacts the students around the globe, and gives them the best sense of what it's like to sit in the seat of the protagonist. So thanks very much for your time today and for having us.
Thank you very much, Matt. We appreciate that. Okay, up next, Rachel with Sage
Hi,
Business
everyone.
Cases.
I'm Rachel. I'm an editor at Sage Business Cases. If you're unfamiliar with us, SBC is a digital case collection that serves as an alternative to the traditional per case purchase model. So instead, we publish each January as a full collection that sells directly to the library. So students and faculty and alumni have access to cases in perpetuity at no cost to them. So in terms of publishing with us, you know, the editorial mission at the heart of SBC has always been to build a case collection that is interdisciplinary, that is inclusive and globally representative, and that is reflective of the kind of realistic day-to-day decision-making that students will be facing over the course of their careers. So we've really put a focus on rigorous and dynamic learning outcomes, and ideally on cases that have multi-level decision points throughout the case and through the discussion questions that really ask the students to engage their critical thinking skills and to help bridge that gap between theory and practice. We're committed to representing an inclusive set of individual and cultural perspectives in our cases. So we're always on the lookout for cases and case authors and case reviewers who can bring some insight into the nuances of how business is conducted within very distinct, very specific economic or cultural settings. We're a global case collection. We are in libraries across the world. So this diversity of perspective is really a crucial part of the collection makeup. We're also quite interdisciplinary. We have a growing suite of topic-specific and scholar-led series that focus on burgeoning areas within business and management and on areas with some crossover with other disciplines entirely, like social work or public policy or even liberal arts. Maria Ballesteros Sola, for example, fabulously co-edits our social impact series, which focuses on social business and on nonprofit and hybrid organizations. We also have series on women in leadership, on immigration and entrepreneurship, on sustainability, on economic history, and a whole host of other topics. Our editorial process, every case that's submitted to us gets put through a double-blind peer review via our Scholar One platform. And this is followed up by a comprehensive developmental review by one of our in-house editors. And as some of the other representatives from publishers have mentioned, this is particularly beneficial for novice or first-time case writers because you get the chance to work directly with an editor in refining your case focus and the case narrative structure. We do require a teaching note or instructor's manual with each case. And we are fairly discerning. We have a 34% acceptance rate, but we do really encourage everyone to submit. We especially encourage instructors to work with their students in writing and submitting cases. There was a session just yesterday by one of our case authors who works with his students in writing cases, and it really helps them more fully engage in what they're learning in the classroom, and it might give them their first chance at dealing and responding with constructive feedback from reviewers, and it might even be their first opportunity at publication. So, no matter what the outcome is, whether the case is accepted or not, it still goes through that review process and through that developmental process. So hopefully you're still walking out with a stronger case at the end of the day. Some other benefits are listed in the slide. We do offer a $500 honorarium for each case upon acceptance, unique ISBN and DOI numbers for discoverability, and indexing via Google Scholar, which is important for us. We're not a traditional print journal, so this indexing really helps generate usage reports and to measure impact and see where your cases are being used and how they're being used. So that's something that we can offer authors that we're really proud of. That's kind of the quick and dirty whistle-stop tour of SBC. My contact information is in the Hopin profile. We do have a booth in the expo section of the conference, so please feel free to visit that. We have some free cases and some more information there, and please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions at all, or if you just want to learn more about some of our series or our editorial process. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Next, we have Tricia.
Hi, everyone.
Haskell.
My name is Tricia Haskell, and I'm from the Case Center. It's good to be here. Always good to be at NACRA. So the Case Center, if those who don't know us, is a nonprofit organization that promotes we're dedicated to advancing the case study method. So we're grateful to have the largest collection of cases. It's like a one-stop shop here for you. And we just support the case method from the beginning and to the end. We have also workshops on writing and teaching with cases. We provide scholarships for first-time case writers. We're all just about a hub for the case method. We just want to get the case method out there, and how we can support the community in any way we can is basically our mission. And recently we just put a whole collection of online of how to teach with cases online. And so it's from all around the world. We've collected different people sharing their experience, strength, and hope within that area. So that's one page that we have created within the last 6 months. Yeah, so that's who we are. And the most recent thing that we have created is the case focus Journal of Business and Management teaching cases, and that's just from the Middle East and Africa edition. So there's 5 peer-reviewed teaching cases that are available that we've just added. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. My contact is in my Hopin profile. And thank you so much for this time.
And thank you very much, Tricia, for taking the time. Next, we have Rebecca Morris with the Case
Hi,
Journal.
everybody. I have been editing the Case Journal for about 4 years now, and the Case Journal is the official journal of the Case Association. The Case Association is affiliated with NACRA. It used to be called the Eastern Case Writers, and so it typically is located northeast part of the United States. We publish online as an online journal through Emerald Publishing, and we publish 6 issues of cases each year. And each case issue will have between 6 to 8 cases, and I write an editorial letter that has to do with something that's happened in the journal. My last one was on intellectual property issues. And so you can find some guidance in terms of what to do and what not to do in case writing, case reviewing, case teaching. All of those things are topics that I might cover in an editorial letter. The slide that you're seeing here describes some of the different kinds of cases that we do publish. We do publish traditional cases that are in the 12 to 15 page range and have a full instructor's manual. We also launched what we call compact cases, And these are cases that are 1,000 words or less. It's a real challenge to write one, but students love them. They're designed to be read in about 15 minutes. And they also have an instructor's manual or teaching note that goes with them. And then I'm keenly interested in what I call new forms. And so I made a note of the Ivey, the pod case. That would be a new form. It would be a new way of presenting case material. Video cases we've been talking about for a long time, some more successful than others. And then Yale is doing what they call raw cases, where they have a website where the case information is presented, and a lot of the information is unfiltered. So there might be an industry report, and the student would have to go through this published industry report to glean factors. What I'm looking for, quite frankly, is things that are really kind of cutting edge and maybe taking case writing in a different direction. And so if you have any of those, I would love to receive them as submissions, because then I'd have to figure out how the heck we're going to review them. We do use a double-blind peer review process, and it is a developmental process, much like the other editors. We work long and hard with writers to get their case ready for publication. And one of the things we pride ourselves on is the quality of our instructors' manuals, because those are peer reviewed as well. We're indexed in Scopus, as Gabby said, and our distribution is a subscription model where libraries subscribe to the case journal, and all the faculty in that institution then have access to the cases and the instructors' manuals, and students then are not charged for the use of their cases. So it can be a really good model if you're very concerned about what students have to pay. We do also publish some articles, you know, in terms of case writing, case research, or case teaching. And so I encourage you to submit those. And I got to tell you, the best part of my job is each year at the Eastern Academy of Management meeting, I get to present the best case as published in the TCJ from the previous year, and it comes with a $1,000 check. And so most people are pretty happy to get that. The other thing I want to call your attention to is that we have a special issue that's closing out soon on underrepresented minorities. This is the second of this special issue that we've published. We published one last year. And if you're interested in the case writing process and you're new and you want to learn about compact cases, I invite you to join me at the Eastern Academy of Management meeting in May of next year. I run a case hackathon. And so the participants in this session spend a full morning, but by the end of the session, we have a draft of a compact case that we can then develop further and submit for publication. So if you want to go to a conference and come away with a publication, I invite you to join me at the Eastern Academy of Management. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. Up next, we have William Wei from the International Case Research.
Thank you for the opportunity, Michael and John. I have a PowerPoint here from last year. I'm based in Canada at McEwen University. About 3 years ago, we started with some of the universities, particularly in China, some of the top universities over there, to start this International Case Research Association, focus on Chinese case writers training, and also their publication in English languages for their cases originally written in Chinese. As you know, most of the case centers and case publishers in China is very institutionalized. There's about 160 more case centers in China, a lot of affiliated to universities. A lot of them actually is in small scale, but there are 3 major case publishers in China. You already heard about CMCC, China Management Case Research Center. There's another one belong to China European International Business School, CBIS, and the third one is Tsinghua University. They have a China Business Case Center. So each of these years, organizations such as CMCC, Tsinghua China Business Case Center, and also CBIS, they have all kinds of different kinds of case competitions. So we are helping and linking people outside of China who are interested in working with Chinese professors, helping them to translate and edit, rewrite their cases into English language to participate into specific case competitions. And normally in October, there will be deadline for CBIS, China European International Business School case competition, and also Tsinghua University China Business Case competition. So this is one thing we are doing. So if people here are interested in joining a team with professors from China, and we can help to bridging the network, and obviously people in the same discipline, they will work together. For example, marketing professors can work together, and management, international strategic, they can also work together. The other part we are doing is that because in the Chinese case, a lot of case was written by PhD students together, maybe sometimes master students coming from their dissertation and under the supervision of a professor. So a lot of these cases are very lively. And some of the new phenomena happened in Chinese economy. For example, e-commerce, unmanned stores, AI, all these kind of interesting topic can be a very good developed area for case research. Because over in the Chinese market, there's some of the companies are interested in also developing their own cases. I met a couple of corporate universities. They're actually using cases to train their new employees, sometimes describing the history and also the decision issues within their company, or using industry data to support the training. So corporate university in China is also developing a lot of industry report and cases. The other part, as a research association focused on Chinese market, what we are doing is that we're using social media, for example, WeChat, to promote Chinese professors' cases. Obviously, there's also a chance to promote cases coming from NACRA. And since last year, we become a strategic partner of NACRA and promoting NACRA annual conference in China. And this year we have case track in Chinese languages. We have about 7 cases. And we're also using podcast, other ways of social media, because there's certainly a disconnected between the Chinese market and outside of China. So we are trying to use different ways to promote on both sides. Thank you.
Thank you very much, William. We appreciate that. And I think last but certainly not least, Michael, I believe you're joining me again, correct?
So here wearing my emerging market case studies collection hat for a few moments. So as many of you know, I am...
Michael, can you share the video with us, or are you able to?
I missed that.
We can't see you right now, just to let you know.
Okay. Is that better? Oh,
no,
others can. It's just you, John.
Oh, well, you know, I will not take offense then, Michael. I really will not.
All right, well, until everyone else can't see me, that's all good. All right, so as many of you know, I'm editor-in-chief of Emerald Publishing's Emerging Market Case Studies collection. Have been for the last few years, and I want to spend a few moments today just talking a little bit more about the publication, the collection, and the opportunity, especially for those scholars working in an emerging market context. And I think that's the first point I want to emphasize, is if you think about so many of the cases that are used in our classrooms, especially in North America, the setting is typically North America. And so we're very, very keen to grow the range and quality of cases that explore those emerging market, fast-paced, dynamic market spaces around the world that our students need to really understand, our managers need to be able to operate in, but they're not always getting that in the case collections that are put in front of them in the classroom. So we're very keen to add to that, as you've heard as well today. We take a very developmental approach. And so we're publishing 100 cases a year. And so we're receiving hundreds of cases from around the world and working closely with those authors through multiple rounds of revision. And so the same kind of feel and philosophy and process of the last 3 days is what I think you'll feel within the EMCS space as well. Again, double-blind, peer-reviewed publication, so follows all of those principles. 850 cases now in that collection, accessible through your library, through your information centers in many markets around the world via Emerald Insight. And as I said, we publish over 100 cases a year, so quite a high volume. And we have 7 associate editors in emerging markets and hundreds of reviewers that thankfully work with us every week to get that throughput. Over 50,000 downloads annually via Emerald Insight. And the most interesting point about that I'm so excited about is that many of those are in developed economies. So our fellow colleagues using emerging market cases to help our students and managers understand what's happening in some of the most dynamic markets in the world. And then Emerald Publishing does pay £100 to authors on publication, so that certainly helps along the way. As Gabi mentioned earlier, Scopus listed and ranked, and then part of Cabell's and available on Emerald Insight. Last quick point before John touches his nose is the storybook, the cartoon storybook special issue. So similar to what Rebecca spoke about, very keen on new ideas. And the cartoon storybook special issue, I think, is really exciting. New ways of communicating content, especially across multiple languages, different cultures. So I encourage you to take a look at that. All the info about our special issues is available online, so reach out to me. Thanks, John.
No, thank you, Michael. And I think it's safe to say I would never touch my nose for the incoming president. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we're at the end of the program. I want to thank everybody for joining us. If you've got any questions that you'd like to bring up, obviously there's still the chat there, but all of the presenters have shared their information with you.